or run, break a few more laws, like run through the, run through the traffic lights, because I'm so high on marijuana that I don't even know what I'm doing.
And you want to go
it doesn't happen.
Support
like
Al Qaeda too.
Yeah, I'm gonna support Al Qaeda, boy, because we all know that when you buy a joint or buy a bag of marijuana out there, that Bin Laden is the one that gets the money.
That's right.
And so, but I really feel like that this society has really been duped. We've had a brainwashing going on for 75, 80 years, and not one time has any truth ever been brought about. When you look at all the things that the government and the law and everything says that marijuana does, in actuality, if you take the opposite of what they say it does, okay, one of their big ones was it makes you sterile. Okay, well, I've been smoking cannabis for 40 years. I've fathered 4 children that I know of. I mean, I'm not, there may be kids out there that I don't even know of that are mine, but I'm certainly not sterile. Marijuana smoking also makes you drop out of school. Well, I graduated from college with 2 degrees, and I did not one time. And all of the friends and stuff that were in college, they all smoked it. So that's definitely a fallacy.
My dad is my guest for the rest of this hour. Carey Burns, the host of the new web show, which will be carrying at freedomfiles.us. The Cannabis Corner, more of him right after this. You're listening to Freedom Files on American Freedom Radio. Halfway through the second hour, you are listening to Freedom Files live right here on American Freedom Radio. We are here 3 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7. And, of course, the Saturday night show from 9 to 11. And don't forget, coming up at 11 o'clock, it's Christy bringing you the Truth Brigade, which airs Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 Central, right here on AFR. I am James Burns, your host, joined once again for the rest of the hour by my father, Carey Burns. He is going to be doing a new weekly web show, my bad, called the Cannabis Corner, which is going to be produced by freedomfiles.us, so you'll be able to watch it on the freedomfiles.us website. And one of the reasons why I support, legalization of marijuana, it's not because I don't smoke. You know that.
Well, I've wondered sometimes.
He's wondered sometimes, okay? But in my 29 years, I've never once, maybe a lot of secondhand smoke in my time.
Some of my stash was missing for some reason, but I wasn't sure if James.
I wouldn't say that on the air, but anyways. But my point is, because I believe in freedom and liberty and individual rights, that's one aspect to it, okay? Because people should do whatever the hell they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
True that.
Another reason is because I'm an avid hemp supporter. I believe in the production of hemp. I believe that there's so many products that can be made from hemp, such as building materials, paper. You have all these tree huggers out there that cry over trees getting torn down. They wouldn't have to cry anymore because we could just grow a whole bunch of hemp. And, of course, it would serve as a biofuel, an alternative fuel source. And as I found at the health food store the other day, you can make bread from it, apparently. A lot of other food and butter, coffee.
There's an endless amount of products. Endless amount of products. And one thing that people don't understand, in 1 year, you can grow enough hemp on an acre of land that it would take 20 years of pine trees growing to produce the same amount of paper. And it's just senseless to cut down trees that is used for hard lumber, for construction lumber and stuff, to chip it down to make paper out of it, when you have a renewable plant that you can grow in some places 2 crops a year in this country and produce all the paper and building materials, plywood, you name it, that you wanted. And James, you said a very key word a while ago, in which you said that you believed in the legalization of marijuana. And that's what it has to be. It has to be outright legalization. I know several years back the efforts in California when they passed the medical marijuana proposition. At the time, this was a very good idea at the time, and I understand why these people did this. They wanted to be able to use this herb without repercussions of law enforcement coming and taking them to jail. And this at the time was the only way that they were able to bring this about. And for that reason, it was a very good idea. But there are many wrongs, though, with medical marijuana, and that's why I think that the herb, the cannabis herb, needs to be outright legal. You can grow it in your yard anywhere you want to. It doesn't matter. As much as you need, whatever it should be, that's the way it should be, because that way you promote free commerce with it. And the reasons I don't think medical marijuana is a good idea, first of all, you're taking an herb that is not a narcotic and you're narcotizing it. You're making it a drug. You're giving it a drug tag that it is not. It's an herb. It does not do that. Second of all, the growers out there have been selling their cannabis at prices that are so elevated that, you know, it's just beyond belief. If you had this herb legal and everybody could produce their own, or legitimate growers that sold them in retail stores and stuff, this herb would be cheap, and that's what it should be. This is a very cheap herb to produce. It doesn't matter which variety. There's thousands of varieties of them around the world, and the potency is dependent on the variety itself. And you could bring about a price reduction that would still give an economic boon to this country, even if the price fell off the floor right now and went to $1 an ounce. We still could produce enough products from this plant to give our country the economic boom we need to bring about not only jobs for people, businesses, new businesses. You touch just about every aspect of commerce if this plant was made legal. And it's not just for the smoking of the cannabis. I mean, my God, they used to make a paint varnish out of the seeds when they pressed the oil from the seeds. They say today that of all the technology that we have, all of the scientists working on these various paints and varnishes and stuff, they've yet to even come close to the one that was being produced when they pressed hemp seed oil. And that's just one example of hundreds out there that we could talk about. It would go, you know, into 100 days on this program if we wanted to discuss all the different things. And why are we holding up the production of hemp? Why are we holding up all of this economic boom? Why, folks? Because this is a form of government control. They don't want us to have this. They don't want us to have this enterprise. They don't want people to be able to succeed and move forward. They like being able to lock people up at the rate of 1.5 million people. The private industrial prison complex, which started in the early 80s when they privatized prisons, they make $60 billion a year. Do you think they want to let that kind of cash go? But it's pennies on the dollar when you look at the amount of money that could be generated from the products that this plant could generate. This plant's unique. There's very few plants on the planet. You look at corn. Okay, corn's a very important food product for a lot of people who like to eat corn. It's very important for feed for cattle and different things that we eat, even though they say that feeding corn to cows is not really a good thing. They should be eating grass. They make alcohol for fuel and stuff out of corn and various different products and stuff. But this pales in comparison when you look at the products at the cannabis plant. And the very fact that the sexes of this plant are on separate plants makes it unique. There's very few situations like that in the natural ecosystem where the sexes are on separate plants. And this is, you'd have to know about the cannabis plant and the different aspects of it, why this particular facet's important. And this certainly will be one of our discussions on one of the future programs that you'll be able to see. But we are bottlenecking a society with a substance that statistically, really, in reality, is not harmful. It is not a drug. It's not a narcotic. It's not addictive. There are many people who smoke cannabis. They can smoke it for months at a time, quit in the middle of smoking one joint, and not touch it again for 6 months and have no withdrawal effects. They don't go through. I mean, you can't get even a mild alcoholic that's been drinking every day and tell him, okay, go a week without drinking your booze. And the first day, he's already feeling the effects of it. And by the second or third day, he's wanting to kill somebody. He's feeling so bad. You don't see those effects with cannabis. It's not a narcotic. It's not addictive. And that's why the whole entire scheduling process at the Health and Human Services, which they are the ones that regulate the scheduling of narcotics and stuff in this country. This is wrong. It shouldn't even be scheduled at all. Even when you go down to Schedule 2, Schedule 3, and Schedule 4 drugs, none of the parameters that they set up for that meet this plant at all. And it's just wrong. And it's wrong that you lock up anybody for this. It's just you're making criminals out of people that are productive citizens of society. How many lives have been ruined How many people there may be people sitting in jail right now that were arrested for cannabis, and that's the only thing that they ever did in their life. They got caught with a bag of weed and they went to jail. Their entire life ruined. They can't get a job because they have a criminal background, criminal history, and yet they may have been the one that came up with the discovery that treats and cures AIDS. We have no idea. We have taken productive members of society, our young men, people that we need in this country to build and further build this country and get it back to what it used to be. We're taking them out like flies left and right over this drug issue, and it's just wrong. We don't have the statistics to back it up. And I feel like personally that, when you read these cases of people that were wrongly convicted and they spend 15, 20 years in prison,